Hey, everybody. We are Greg and Lisa. Thanks for stopping by today, checking us out. We find stuff on the internet, and then we talk about it with you. So that's why we're here today.
Yes. And today we're going to talk about annoying things tourists do in Spain that locals can't stand. And this is going to be a fun video and a different perspective because, yeah, we're U.S. citizens, but we moved to Spain about a year ago.
Yep.
Beginning of 2024. Mm-hmm. So we have some things to say about this.
Yeah, well,
probably.
Maybe. We'll know.
Probably.
Probably. All right. This is Spain Speaks. He has 90,000 subscribers. He's really good.
Yeah, we like him. We watch him. He has like a news segment part of his channel. He does this kind of stuff, and he also does the news here in Spain, and he does it in English. Yeah. So check him out.
Yep. All right. Let's see what we can see.
Hola, Spain lovers. Stuart here with another video. And as we know, Spain is one of the most visited countries in the world. But let's be honest, some of the tourists that visit this country make locals cringe. So if you're planning a trip to Spain, listen up, because today I'm going to talk about some of the things that tourists do that drive locals absolutely crazy.
This is going to be good. I'm kind of excited to see.
Yeah, we've heard of some of these, so I'll be interested to see if he mentions them. Otherwise, we can mention them.
Yeah, because we're like locals now.
Yeah, we're locals.
Yeah, sorry.
And you don't want to get the locals offside, right? Now, before I begin, I just want to talk about the anti-tourism movement that has been on the rise here in Spain in recent years. Yeah. Some locals, and I'll repeat that, some locals have been complaining that tourism is ruining their quality of life. Some of the main tourist hotspots here in Spain have been the focus point of these anti-tourism protests. So it is true that Spain's popularity as a tourist destination, with some 94 million people visiting the country last year, is not pleasing all of the locals here. So hopefully some of the things that I'm going to talk about in this video will help you guys enjoy your Spain experience, and it won't the locals off too much.
We were here when they were having their protests.
Yeah,
we were.
And it's not so much about tourists. It's more about not having enough housing. Yeah. Because a lot of the homes and pisos and everything are used for short-term rentals. Yeah.
So it's kind of like, well, honestly, the locals are the ones deciding to rent out their homes to Airbnb or Booking.com or whatever versus renting to the locals.
And I guess it's like everything everywhere else Airbnb is. So you deal with the same issues. Right. Look at this. Not everyone speaks English. We might have something to say about this.
Now, one of the most annoying things that some tourists do when they visit Spain is think that everybody speaks English in this country. And the fact of the matter is that no, not everybody is fluent in the English language. It's a surprise, right? While many Spaniards have studied English at school, it is a compulsory subject in the Spanish school system, they might not have a very good level, and they might not feel confident speaking English. Therefore, you should make the effort to learn a little bit of
That is true. I mean, we thought we live in Malaga, which is in the south of Spain, and it's a pretty big tourist city. And so we just thought that there's going to be a lot of people who speak English here, but no. And we don't. We live maybe about a 5-minute walk from the city center. Yeah. So
there's hardly anyone surrounding us that speaks English. Yeah. And even in the center, we went to the bank, even in the center, and we didn't have anyone to speak English to us. And that's when we were really bad. We've gotten better with our Spanish. But
that was a depressing day. Yeah. Like, I don't know nothing.
Basic Spanish. For example, basic greetings. Buenos días, buenas tardes, buenas noches. Hola, ¿qué tal? For example. And the most important 3 words in Spanish, por favor and gracias. Please and thank you. So do the locals a favor and try to learn a little bit of the language before you come. That would be my advice.
Yeah.
And just like any place, it's appreciated when you try. So just try. Yeah. They smile at us because I think when we are trying and talking, they smile at us. I think they think it's cute but I think they also appreciate it that we're trying.
Or they're smiling and saying, "Oh, these people don't know what they're doing. It sounds crazy."
I think they're being nice.
Yeah. Oh, don't.
Now, another thing that will annoy the locals here, especially local shopkeepers, is touching fresh produce.
Guilty. I'm guilty.
Yeah.
I have done this. Dang it.
We did it at first. Now I don't do it.
I do it sometimes. I gotta stop. I gotta stop. After this, I promise.
Okay.
At the markets. If you go to one of the many produce markets in this country, don't pick up the fruit like it's yours and squeeze it to see if it's ripe. That is the responsibility of the person serving the fruit or veg. And also, and this is something that happened to me just last week, if you go into a supermarket and you look at all of the different types of cold meats, all of the chorizos, all of the salchichones, the hams and things like that, don't touch those either. I got told off for doing that last week. You have to wait until they offer you a sample product to try. And they quite often will. If you're going to buy cheese or if you're going to buy ham, ask them to try the produce first. Don't just pick it up and look at it, because that will annoy the people behind the counter too. So keep that in mind.
It looks like he just showed like the markets. But if you go into a grocery store or a mercado, as they say out here, then they actually have plastic gloves that you should put on before you pick up the fruit, the produce, fruta.
But it's also a waste of plastic, because you do use the plastic gloves. They usually end up in the carts.
Yeah, but
so I don't know.
Would you rather not use the plastic, save some plastic, and have our beautiful Spanish family look at us like we're crazy?
I know.
No, girl, use the plastic.
I do use the plastic.
You just said you did.
But I'm wasting plastic.
It's okay. It's okay.
Now, another thing that will annoy the locals here is not replying to basic greetings. Let's say you're walking down the street, you pass a local, they say, hola, buenos dias, you don't reply. That will annoy that person. So
they don't do that. Nobody says hola, buenos dias when you're passing on the street. Everybody just...
Oh, not passing just randomly on the street.
But I hear what he's saying. Okay.
Yeah.
We're sorry.
Yeah, it is rude not to respond.
It is rude.
Try to reply back. Hola, buenos dias. Hola, buenos dias. Hola, buenas tardes. Hola, buenas tardes. And it's also important that when you walk into a shop or a business, regardless of the size, to greet the people working there. They'll often greet you, so greet them back again with a simple hola, buenos dias. And that way you...
But it's funny because we're like, we don't want to say too much because they might start talking back to us and we're like, whoa. I just want to say hola, buenos dias.
We can understand them now. We're getting better. We're getting better.
I'm just trying to be funny for the thing. You know?
Those establishments offside.
I will say, I think we kind of already said this, but they almost always say something when you walk into a store.
Yeah.
They don't ask. They don't go beyond that. They don't like, can I help you find anything? Is there anything you need? Blah, blah, blah. They don't do that.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
And even when you leave, it's super common for people to say, luego, you know. So. So. Dress appropriately.
Now, another thing that annoys locals here, especially in some of the coastal areas, some of the coastal cities here in Spain, is tourists that are not dressed appropriately for the city they are in. Sometimes you'll see tourists walking around in bare feet with their shirts off, and the locals are walking around quite well dressed, and the tourists stick out like a sore thumb. And let's be honest, nobody wants to see an overweight, white, tattooed tourist walking around a Spanish...
What
he said? Ugly?
He said overweight, white,
overweight.
tourist. I mean, calm down. He just got just went. Oh, maybe he's talking about himself. You think he's tattooed? I don't know.
No.
He doesn't look overweight. I don't know. Whatever.
City or town, right? So keep your clothes on, look around, see what the locals are wearing, and try to blend in.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good one.
Now, we all know that Spain has had a fairly up and down history as far as politics are concerned, also in recent times too, but locals here don't want to talk about these things with foreigners or tourists. Nobody's interested in your opinion on the Spanish Civil War, on the dictatorship, on the transition to democracy, the recent problems in Catalonia, the problems in the Basque Country. No one is interested, and no one's interested in talking about modern-day Spanish politics either. So we'll keep those issues to ourselves, shall we?
Yes.
Now, another thing that tourists do that annoy locals here is not respecting the local heritage sites or monuments. And this has become a problem in recent times, especially with so many people trying to take selfies of these historical sites, treading all over them, climbing on top of them, and that is just not on. Virtually every city here in Spain is filled with important monuments and heritage sites, and they should not be trampled all over. So don't climb all over an important monument or statue just for one Instagram shot to impress your followers, because that will really annoy the people here.
Yeah.
That's true. Oh.
Now, another important thing to do to keep the locals on side is respect the environment. Now, it sounds like a no-brainer, but you would be surprised how many tourists don't respect the local environment here. Don't leave your rubbish lying around. Pick up after yourself, and remember to recycle your rubbish. There are plenty of recycling bins all over Spain, so put the rubbish in the correct container. And it's also important to talk about noise pollution as well. Yes, Spain can be a party country, especially on the islands, Ibiza, for example, and some of the coastal resorts, but locals like to sleep too. And there's nothing worse than having a noisy group of foreigners in the apartment next door that want to party all night. So keep the noise down, especially after 11 p.m. or 12 midnight, especially if you're staying in an Airbnb in an apartment block that also has locals living in it, because they don't want to have to put up with your partying or your noise. And
that's right.
That's a good piece of advice. But I would also say that don't wake up at 6 in the morning blasting your music, because out here
they sleep in.
8 o'clock or 9 o'clock is early. So we got used to it. I mean, when we were in America, I used to go to bed at like 9, something like that. But now it's like 12, 1
I usually go to bed around 12.
No. And an early start for us is if we can leave the house by 9, we're doing good. I used to wake up at like 4:30. So but anyway.
That goes for in the street as well. If you've been out, you've had a good night, and you're on your way home, keep the noise level down, because remember, in the apartment blocks around you, people are trying to get some sleep.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, snap. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Oh, dang. Okay.
Well, we don't do that, but...
And while we are on the topic of party, remember that street drinking here in Spain is illegal. Yes, you will see local people out and about having a drink in the street, maybe even having a party in the street, but as I said, it is not permitted by law. And if you do it, you could get fined. So be careful when you're walking around cities here in Spain and you see people out and about selling you alcohol. Just remember that it's not legal to street drink in this country.
Oh, that's a good one. Spain is not like Latin America.
Now, another thing that will annoy locals here, and a lot of people from North America especially fall into this trap, and it is thinking that Spain is similar to Latin American countries, and that is not the case. Yes, Spain does share a language with Central and South American countries, but the cultures are very, very different. And it's the same when it comes to food. Spanish cuisine is a lot different to the cuisine you'll find in Central and...
Oh, yeah.
That's true. Different. We don't find, well, our relationship with Latin America is Mexico. Yeah. Because we lived in California, so it's like little Mexico. Like, we don't find too much Mexican food out here. So
no, and if it is, it's like fancy Mexican food.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's not, abuelas, tortillas
like,
or something like that.
For real tortillas and refried beans.
Yeah, it's something fancy with some, pink sprinkles on it or something.
Yeah, something. Black beans.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's good, but,
in South America. So keep that in mind as well. The food here is not spicy like it would be in Mexico, for example. And a lot of the ingredients used in Spanish cuisine are different to the ones you'll find in Central and South American cuisine.
True.
So remember, food here in Spain is more European than the food you'll find in other Spanish-speaking countries.
Yeah. Huh? Use escalators correctly. This is gonna be good. Somebody ain't saying no names, but sometimes it's difficult to get on the escalator. So let's just see.
I find it difficult to get on an escalator.
Oh, you told her yourself. I said I ain't saying no names. I gave you a chance. All right.
I hate these damn escalators.
Now, another thing that will annoy locals here in Spain is standing on the wrong side of the escalator when you go up. and also when you come down. The etiquette here in Spain is that if you are not in a hurry, you just want a peaceful ride up the escalator, you stand on the right, and if you are in a hurry, you move on the left. So don't stand on the left side of the escalator.
Okay, this is interesting because that is like the unspoken rule on the escalators, but it is not the unspoken rule on the sidewalk.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah, because
the sidewalk is just...
it's just a free-for-all. Everybody's just kind of like...
Go where you can go.
Yeah, you go where you can go.
Yeah. But, you always do that. Like, when you go to move to one side or something, let people pass by.
Here on the escalators? Or
on the escalators. And, and I'm always like, what are you doing?
No, I do that.
Now, I think, thanks to him, I'm going to be okay when you do that.
I think I've noticed people doing that.
Yeah, okay.
Because people are in a hurry. Watch this. Not in a hurry. On the right, keeping out of everyone's way. But if you are in a hurry, you take the left side and you work your way quickly down the escalator. And that's how it's done.
I agree with this. I agree. It's not a dessert. It's like a meal.
I mean, it tastes like a dessert, but that's not yet. No, it's more like breakfast.
Yeah, it's like breakfast.
Now, the next thing I want to talk about, and this is something that tourists get wrong all the time here in Spain, is when it comes to this humble thing here, the churro or the churro, as it's called here. And believe it or not, this is not a dessert here in Spain. It's a breakfast.
He did that good. Churro. I always have a hard time with that one. Churro. Is that good? Churro?
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
Churro. Churro.
I'm Spanish now.
Yeah.
Snack or an afternoon tea snack or merienda, as they call it here, around 5, 6, 7 p.m. People will eat these, and also, as I said, in the morning for breakfast. Never for dessert. So if you come from a country where these are served as a dessert, for example, in Australia, I have seen them on the dessert menu. Forget about it here in Spain. Breakfast or afternoon snack only.
Ooh, that sounded good.
Oh.
And while we are on the subject of eating, another thing that might annoy locals here is tourists eating at the wrong times of the day. I know where you come from. Most likely you're having lunch at around 12 midday, 12:30 maximum, dinner 6, 6:30 p.m. Here in Spain, that is not the case. People have late lunches and late dinners.
And I think it's funny, if we go somewhere and we see some people eating at about 12:30, we're like, oh, they're the tourists.
Yeah.
Yep.
And in some cities here in Spain, they won't start serving lunch until 1:30 p.m. and they won't start serving dinner until 8:30 p.m. So forget about having an early meal. So keep it in mind that lunch and dinner times here in Spain happen later than what you are probably used to. So try to adapt to the local culture and norms as far as meal times are concerned, and that'll help you blend in. On that note, I'm going to wrap the video up. Questions and comments.
We have lunch at 2 and dinner at 9. That's all.
Yeah, which is so weird because I used to be asleep by 9 o'clock.
I know.
But now it's like I'm barely even getting started.
I know.
I just get dinner. So,
I know.
Yeah. So I think
please leave them in the section below. If you have any other habits that tourists do here in Spain that annoy the locals, I'd love to hear them. Let me know in that comment section below. Give the video a
all right.
Okay.
Oh, that was great. That was a really good video.
Yeah, that was good. The only one the one that I was thinking of earlier in the video that he mentioned was they don't like it when you're walking around without a shirt.
Yeah, that's true.
And flip-flops.
That's true.
But he mentioned that they were barefoot, but that's the one I've heard of.
That's true. All right. Well, let's check out some of the comments here. This should be good. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay. What? You read it already?
Yeah.
Read it.
Many of these points are transferable to any country you're a tourist in. So that's true. I mean, try to learn the language. Don't be boasting and talking late at night.
Yeah, I don't know, but if you go to America, like, you do all some of the stuff that he was saying you don't do, you kind of do over there. Okay, but we don't need to bash Mr. Rich Man. Yeah,
I think he's right.
Okay, let me just give him a like since I made fun of him. That's wrong.
No.
All right. Let's see. I found my attempts to speak Spanish. The little bit of Spanish I know gets met with some real appreciation by the locals.
Exactly.
Hopefully, for my trips this year, my Spanish will be much better.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
That's absolutely true. Good job. All right. Last one here. I'm from Spain. I can definitely say that this has become a problem. Not respecting rules. We appreciate and we thank you.
Yeah, they probably like video. You know, I think we all probably like videos like this that helps tourists understand. And, you know, I remember before we went to Spain the first time, I watched these kind of videos to know what to do and what not to do. I mean, it's great. The people here are awesome. You know, if you just kind of blend in as best you can, you won't have a problem. Is there anything else? Nah.
All right. Thanks for stopping by.
Bye. Peace.